Hello, welcome. My name is William Penn. I am the president of the Grand Boulevard Coalition, and welcome to another half hour of drug-free community news and thoughts. I would like to start off today by saying today I was in a great meeting, and that meeting was on Census 2020. And once I got out that meeting, I realized that a lot of the root of a lot of the issues that we have in some of our communities is based on if we can control a little bit on how we can get help, money, and resources back into our communities and help in some of the problems that we experience. And so I want to go to the overhead and say, be counted today for a better tomorrow. United States Census 2020. And all of our partners who are coming together, which you see all the little things down here, over 20 agencies throughout the city of Chicago, north, west, and south side are coming together to make sure that we are being counted this time around so we don't lose any money. Hopefully we could gain another congressional seat and we'll have the ability to continue to have all the things that the census do for us. And a lot of people say, well, what do the census do for us? And so I found out today that by the count leads to the amount of money the federal government give to the state that transcends into the city for our senior citizen, for mental health, for stamps or SNAP, for 5 to 10 other things that are publicly funded by our federal government. Those monies and dollars are based on how many people live in a certain area, a certain community, a certain city, and a certain state. And this year, every 10 years, we have a census count. And that is happening the first day that you can get online and do it. It's all technology. It's all online now. You will get a hard paper copy in the mail, but you can also just pick up your smartphone and do it from your phone. It's happening April 1st. A lot of community outreach is going on from all levels, so you will probably be overly inundated in learning about the census this year. And I support that, and I'm working with those groups and those organizations and this half-hour show that I have to make sure that word is getting out there. And in the coming weeks, I will have people from some of these organizations to come on and talk about how being counted will help our community. Also, would like to thank everybody for showing up and watching the show today to see what we're still doing when it comes to our drug-free community in the Bronzeville area for the Grand Boulevard extended area of Bronzeville. And if you're watching the show today and you're like, my God, I want to talk to him and he doesn't know what he's talking about or he's crazy or whatever, please feel free to call and tell me that I'm crazy at 312-738-1060. Today, I was with my drug-free community cohorts at the PAC over at Laurie's Children's Hospital. And I just want to be able to give a quick shout out and to talk to about one of the groups that have come from there, which is from our PAC, which stands for Preventing Alcohol Abuse in Chicago Teens. They have come together, and this group of people here that you probably can't make out, but probably a dozen, probably 10 to a dozen youth came together from all walks of life and all around the city of Chicago to come together and put together a substance use prevention coalition youth committee. And I was with the president and some of the leaders of that today while they gave their advice on how they went about hiring, having youth interview for being a part of this youth committee. Very impressed, sharp young people, sharp in their goals in preventing alcohol abuse in Chicago teens. And I wish them all the luck and support. And I hope before too long, or this run goes, that I'll be able to get one of those youth to come and sit right here and talk about some of their goals because we're fastly approaching spring, which is prom time in the city. And we always know that the Grand Boulevard Coalition, GBC, one of the things that we do is have our youth in some of our high schools to sign, teach them about alcohol abuse and not using, and then have them sign pledge cards to saying they're having a clean, free prom. And it's been very successful. And we partnered this year with a couple of groups who are also doing the prom dresses and suits for the young men and the prom dresses for the young ladies, makeup and hair, who are not able to afford or have the means to maybe have all those wonderful things at their disposal so they can have a very wonderful prom. And so we will talk about that a little more as we get close to that. And hopefully we will have some good prom experience for our youth this year. Also, as we go through the people that I'm talking to, upcoming guests that we're having on the show, I've spent today with a lot of people, with the State of Illinois Liquor Control Commission, and they wanted to know when they can come on the show and talk about the bottom line, a college parent guide on underage drinking. And I like his T-shirt, "Don't be sorry, don't drink." Great T-shirt and a great concept and idea. And so we look forward to having them come out and talk about some of the initiatives that the State of Illinois Liquor Control Commission have put together to try to stem the tide. Anywhere from they have hired young youth decoys to go in and try to purchase alcohol from certain locations that are not adhering to the law. They have gone out and have training to spot people who maybe are drinking that are underage, who are maybe need support and help because of trauma and so on and so forth. So we look forward to having that group and having those people come out and talk to us about teen behavior and how we can stem the tide, because our ultimate goal is not only is a drug-free community, but an alcohol-free community when it comes to our youth, especially our high school and grade school, and giving them the tools to be able to stand up and speak up if they need help or they see someone else who needs help. So we look forward to having all those upcoming shows live and in person over the next couple of months, talking about those areas. So today we want to discuss a little further our pack that we have in the Grand Boulevard area, and how we have 12 sector partners that come together once a month and we meet and we try to utilize the GBC as a catalyst for getting messaging out, having those partnerships come together and see how we can continue to have a drug-free community in the Grand Boulevard area. And one of the things that we always come up to, we meet with the aldermen. We have the Chicago Police Department and the CAPS. They're sitting at the table. We've met the Sheriff Department and how they come and sit at the table. And so now we're reaching out to the state's attorney because they have resources and ideas on how to keep troubled youth from being in trouble and going into the Audi home and going into the court system, which is not always a good thing. And we've talked, and now they're giving us more information for the youth who's gone in and have come back out, and now they need resources for where they're going to live, how they're going to complete their education, and where they might go to live. So all those resources are beginning to come together, and we begin to partner and broaden our horizon to offer all those items to our community. And we hope that our community takes advantage of these opportunities. As I said the last time I was here on the air, a lot of times we work with a lot of different not-for-profits and people who are for-profits, and aldermen and ward committeemen, Chicago Police Department, CPS, and the local hospital in our area. And they have programs and they have opportunities for people to come out and learn and get resources to help them. And we'll be expecting 10, 15, 20, 30 people to show up, and we have, people just dribble in. We might only get a third of what we expected but we do surveying in the community, and the community, when they do go and take these surveys, saying that these are the resources and stuff that they need, and then we bring these things to the community, and the community don't come out. So I have to blame ourselves and not marketing and not advertising and getting the word out. But on the flip side, we still have to put onus on ourselves to make sure that we who need these opportunities or need these things to come out and see and be able to attach to those things. Let's see what else we have on the table today. So we want to make sure we're mobile. When I was with the Census 2020 people, and we were talking about how we're going to mobilize our community leaders, and those community leaders are, again, our political leaders, our church leaders, our non-for-profits who are big in the community, who have grown to have some type of voice in their community, to come together and start working on an environmental change in how coalitions work and how we work together. We all know back in the day there would be so much money, or there were money for different non-for-profits. They didn't want to share their ideals or share what they're doing because they're afraid that somebody will take what they learned and what they're doing and do it themselves, and then they'll be able to get the money or cut their money down. Well, now here in 2020, there's little to no money out there, and money is slowly drying up, and a lot of non-for-profits where there might be 10 or 15 helping in one community is now down to 5 or 6, and how the surviving ones can continue to survive. And one of the things that we come up with is coalitions, is the people have to start working together, start coming together and working in this segment of people, but making sure that they're getting them ready for whatever organization that might take them on after they get out of that age group. It's almost like how schools are. We put them in preschool, that get them ready for the grade school. The grade school gets them ready for high school, and then the high school get them ready for college. They're all in the same field. They're all trying to do the same thing within the educational realm, and they all sort of work together so where each group is being fed into the next group. And so with that concept, how can us non-for-profits work in the same capacity, where we're taking them from baby to a certain age, from a certain age to teen, from teen to young adult, and then from young adult on into adulthood, especially if they have problems or issues and they would need to have service for them throughout their lives. We have to obviously be there for them for that, but ones that we can get them and keep them so they don't get put into the system and get lost, and then we have to deal with them from a negative perspective. So it'd be great to hear what people feel about that, and make sure you go to our website, our Facebook page at GBC, and let us know and leave some messages and some comments there. One of the things that we're trying to do with our coalitions of youth committees is to start building strong leadership in the up-and-coming grade school kids or youth, so whether they get to high school, they'll be good leaders in helping and educate and keeping an eye out on what's going on in schools, so our schools and our communities continue to grow and continue to be better. So they go from 1A school to an A school, and our B's and C schools are all going up in where they're at, so that at the end of the day, we all have 1A or 1+ schools are our number one. All our schools are there like that. And if all our schools are like that, the kids are not fighting to go to a certain few schools, but they now have larger choices of schools to go to. So strong leadership is very good. Relationship building and dedication to the community and making the community overall better. We have to look at how we're treating our youth and how we're preparing them and getting them ready, but they have to feel that everything they do, and once they go off to college or go off to trade school, that one of the things that they want to be able to do is take that knowledge and take that new wealth that they have because they finished college or they finished trade school and come back to the community and come back and buy homes and replenish what's happening there so that the economics of that community will grow and be much richer. We must also trust our neighbor and trust people. We know there's a lot of bad actors, as the police would say, there are a lot of bad actors out there, but there are a lot of good people. And a lot of times, as you know on the news, the good people do not get acknowledged. I think a little more today in today's world because of the 24-hour news cycle, as they said, a lot more of what people are doing good have reached the surface and is now being put on TV, but they're still dominated by all the bad actors that are out there doing wrong and doing bad, and we don't know why, and we need to figure out how to get to these people who are doing bad and help them. So we definitely have to start trusting ourselves and trusting our intuition and do, as I always say on every show, make sure we're meditating and keeping our minds and our body and our spirits right. We're also making sure that we're getting up and meditating maybe a little bit in the morning. And I always say drink a big glass of water to get your day started. And what do I always tell you? When you walk out the door and you see your neighbor walking down the street as you walk into the bus or train, your car, make sure you just say good morning or how you doing. That puts a smile on your face and that puts a smile on their face. And if we're all doing that, at some point it comes back to you twofold. And we definitely have to start, as I was saying earlier, with our not-for-profit sharing. And this came up in every meeting I've been to this whole week, sharing knowledge and sharing best practice. What are we doing out here that are winning in education and our youth being educated better? What are we doing to share our knowledge in winning, keeping our youth drug-free and alcohol-free? And what are we doing out here to keep people safe in our different communities? So that is very important. We have to start sharing our knowledge and go back to the old school, like when we grew up in neighborhoods where you knew everybody to live on the block. You were able to watch out for your neighbor's kids, and they actually asked you, and you volunteer, and it's not you getting in my business or I'm in your business. As we share our knowledge, we're sharing leadership. Leadership is very important. We always say recent times that now that our old leadership from the 60s and 70s are now becoming older and becoming our elder statesmen, what is the next group of our civil rights people, our leaders in the black and brown communities? Where are they coming from? Are they being groomed and are they being trained? And are they beginning to have a voice out there that we can see those future people that's there? Let's see. So one of the things that we do at Grand Boulevard Coalitions, we work very hard with our mission to work to collaboratively to implement a comprehensive education, prevention, and intervention plan to reduce underage drinking and marijuana use among youth, and over time, adults within the Grand Boulevard community. And so that's very important. And now with vaping being at the forefront, we got to make sure that we're educating and letting people know that that's not only hurting them because of the tobacco, but there's the other chemicals that are now causing different lung problems and lung ailments. And as you guys in last year, probably close to double-digit people had died from just vaping, cigarettes, vaping flavors, different flavor cigarettes, and eventually vaping marijuana products. So we're looking at we have our Youth and Action Committee going really good. We have our parent community going real good. We're still looking at our crime prevention or part of our organization. So we're looking for people in the Grand Boulevard area who it deals within the crime prevention area to come and talk to us and come and sit right here and tell us some of the things we could do. Because in our area, we do have a lot of senior citizens, and we as we all know, that's one of two major groups that get picked on in reference to being either bullied, being used to try to take advantage of when it comes to financing and their money, and just being rude and not even being looking out for our seniors. And so we want some people who work within that area to come and talk to us so we can have better understanding on how we could do criminal prevention for the elderly. So if you know anybody or you're one of those people, please reach out to us, either here via that phone number or at our website or our Facebook page, because we're putting together a plan to work with picking up 2 or 3 senior living facilities and monthly go in and try to talk with the youth. And so I know you guys are saying, well, William, what is that thing? Our Twitter, you can always reach me at Twitter, again, William Penn. But our Twitter, follow us on Twitter at GB Coalition _. Very important. That's GB Coalition _. Okay. So one of the things that we want to bring it all the way back to is to make sure that we're mentoring and training and employ our youth. And we have started several initiatives within our community to not only work with our sector partners and expanding our reach by talking to, in the next couple of months, the retail operations in the Bronzeville community, along with our larger player, Mariano's, Jewels, and Target, that we would take on training youth and making sure they have all the tools they need to not only apply for a position or job, of learning what it takes to dress and to perform that job, and what to do once they get paid and how they can save that money. And as everybody always say, you split it to 3 piles. 1 pile that you put away for a rainy day, 1 pile you use for today, and then maybe 1 pile for you giving back to your community and helping others. So those are all great things that we're doing. We look forward to you guys being a part of that. We're putting together our February calendar now. Outside of Valentine's Day, as you guys know, we have our opioid 3 coming up again, where we're actually doing a training. We're looking for 20 to 30 youth that is interested in maybe being trained on Noxicil and how to spot somebody if they're overdosing, and how to, if they're, of course, 18 and over, how they can administer the drug to save a life. We also have talked with Red Cross and how to teach people about choking, opening airways, and how to just be sharp and observant of what's going on around them, because an accident or somebody passing out or somebody fainting can happen anywhere and at any time. And we want to make sure that we have trained youth in our community that can, if they're out hanging out, walking down the street, playing basketball at the outdoor Chicago Park District parks and so on and so forth, they have the tools and the wherewithal to be able to not videotape it, but to jump right in and be a hero and become our own first responders in our own community, which is very important. And that's one of the projects that we definitely have taken on this year, and we look forward to people being a part of that. So if you know any youth that is interested in that, please, again, to reach out to us and let us know. Okay, they're giving me the wrap. My God, they're giving me the wrap-up sign already. I just want to do my commercial. I just want to make sure that everybody remember that the I Got This campaign, which is part of Ann and Robert Laurie's Children's Hospital, the PAC, the Prevention Alcohol Abuse in Chicago Team, and Chicago Area Project. It's a thing to make sure we're talking to our youth about not using alcohol, and just to strengthen our parents to make sure they know that they have the tools to be able to talk to their teen, their preteen about alcohol abuse and how they should not use it. As I have a couple minutes left, thank you so much for you opening your TV and your ears to me talk about all these wonderful things. And I look forward to seeing everybody next Thursday with one of our guests that I told you about. Until then, be safe, drink your water. Good evening.